So, someone sent me a really beautiful question this morning that I will try to answer. And the question is basically, how do you re-own projected shadow material, like disowned qualities, without taking them on and using them to reinforce your ego? So a really simple example of this is like, say I see someone and I think they're really smart and I don't feel smart. The projection is that the quality isn't inside of here, but it lives instead in someone else. And so the process of re-owning it would lead you to a place where you can feel or experience yourself as smart. And the distinction that this question brings in, which I really appreciate, is between a sense that you are smart and knowing your own intelligence versus having a fixed idea that you're smart, that is rigid in a way, or that if it's threatened, you start to feel really insecure. Like if someone would say to you, "You're not smart," and you start feeling like, "Oh my God, they're creating some issues in my self-identity." And so there's a way you can like experience your own intelligence, and know your own intelligence without it being something that can be torn down by someone else. And that doesn't mean just holding it so strongly that no one is stronger, that no one is strong enough to break it, but that you know it in a way that's based on the evidence of your life, rather than having it just as an idea in your head that has to be held onto. And it's a process. It's a real process. And one of the things that I love the most is to notice people I'm jealous of. I could be jealous of anything. I could be jealous of the tiniest things. Like I've been noticing a lot of like women's nails lately. Mine have some sparkles on them right now. But there was a woman in my yoga class last night and her nails were just like so cool, and I actually felt jealous. I was like, I want my nails to be like that cool. And so for me, one of the things that I practice with is like, okay, go have your nails done in a really cool way. Do your own nails in a really cool way and see how that feels. And to me, the really key part is to see how it feels. So let's say I, get all my nail polish in order and I do my nails really nicely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to bask in the experience of feeling like I have really cool nails. What does it mean about me that I have really good nails? What are the emotions that start coursing through my body? What's the sensation like? What are the thoughts I start having? And so through that process, I can re-own the experience of having nice nails. And it's a bit of a simple example. For more complicated or abstract phenomenon, it might be a little trickier. But there are a lot of ways that we can start re-owning things like that for ourselves. Like with the intelligence example, it might be looking at your life and seeing like, where am I intelligent in my life? There are so many ways to be intelligent, right? Some people are really socially perceptive, like amazingly socially perceptive. Like they notice things that most other people aren't noticing. Some people are really good at like writing or math, whatever it is, super basic examples. But you can start looking through your own life in a really honest way, right? Not like in a self-deprecating way, but also not in a like I'm great at everything way, but really looking at your own life and seeing like, what am I really good at? What are the ways that I actually am intelligent, that I may see things in a way that other people don't see, or that I may be taking in more information than other people are, or able to do something that other people aren't? And those are like small ways we can start using the information of our lives to create like a bottom-up picture of our own capacity and our own intelligence. So it's not just based on like implementing the idea or implanting the idea, although you can do that as well. But ideally, you really want it to be based on your own experience of it, that you've had moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm good at this, Oh my God, like I'm doing a great job. Oh my God, like I'm really smart. That we've all had at least one moment in our lives like that. And you can go back to those moments or even create those moments by doing things that you feel competent at, and really take in the experience. Like, be with the experience. Let the experience expand inside of you so it becomes an experience that you can access from the inside. Yeah. I'll say a little bit more about identification. So, the way that I would define identification, which is basically like you would say like I'm identified with being smart, which means that if I start feeling like I'm not smart, or if someone tells me that I'm not smart, I might get really activated. And so often that kind of activation is one of the telltale signs of identification, that when things we're identified with are questioned or are threatened, it brings up a lot of emotion, because the emotion is actually there to maintain the identification. And so one of the ways we can start to disidentify with things is when we have a reaction like that, instead of letting it play out, we just breathe. And so if you notice you're triggered or you're activated or you start getting really hot, whatever it is, you're having a physiological or an emotional or like even a big mental reaction, like thoughts start racing through your head, just see like, oh my God, okay, I'm having a reaction experience. This means something I was identified with is getting touched. And just to be with that and find out what's going on here. What am I believing about myself? What am I believing is at risk? Is that really at risk? And just to be tender and patient and bring awareness to it. The biggest thing is to bring awareness to the place of identification. And I don't sit in a place where I'm like, we should or shouldn't be identified with things. But it can be really helpful to be able to take something on and to be able to take it off, almost like wearing a hat or changing your clothes. So for me, like, there are different modes that I occupy in my life. Like, I love cooking, for example, and when I'm cooking in the kitchen, it's like a very different hat that I'm using. The experience of my body is very different. The way I'm navigating space is very different than, when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with someone or leading a group. And there's a way we can kind of learn to put on and take off different identifications, so you end up in a more fluid space of your own self, where there can be these shifts and changes, but there's choice in that you can choose to move between different roles, different identifications, instead of being like locked in either to I have to be smart or I have to hide my intelligence, being locked into like, oh, I have to seem powerful, or being locked into, oh, I have to seem weak. And so by gentling and bringing awareness to those defaults, we can find more fluidity in our own experience, which can be just really gosh darn wonderful. All right, that's it for today.